To say that it is a beautiful night here in Krakow would be just a bit of an understatement. I found my way out after a long day's work, and I thought that I would just do a walkabout video, if you will. You're looking at the theater here in Krakow, and my apology, I don't know the name of the theater, but I'm sure that if you Google it, you will see it. So I'm just kind of getting just practicing with the camera, trying to see just how good it's going to be for my purpose of touring some of the Christmas markets next month and into the month of December. So I thought that I would just take the camera out at nighttime, because there's probably a good chance that quite a bit of the time when I'm doing the videos for the Christmas markets, I'm going to be out and about in the evening time, and I just want to see how this camera actually works, both in low light situations, if you will. So it is it's a Tuesday night here in Krakow, and it's probably just before 8 o'clock, I would imagine. I just had some dinner over at Salone Widelce, and I'm trying to learn how to speak some of the, or pronounce rather, some of the Polish words, and it's not easy. I've kind of wrapped my tongue around some of the Hungarian words, but the Polish words, that's a whole nother bird, so to speak. But nonetheless, so to give you a little bit of an idea as to my what I'm doing right now, is I'm using a Sony A6300 camera. And the camera, I bought the camera, I was going to buy a video camera, the old video camera that I bought. I have a Zion Crane. It's Zhiyun, Zion Crane. It's called a gimbal, and the gimbal is it's a stabilizer, and you put the camera on, and if you buy a certain cable, you can actually use the zoom feature while you're holding the gimbal, so the camera mounts onto the gimbal, and then I can use the gimbal, the controls. For example, as I'm walking, I can show you this tower up here, just like that. And this camera here, I can actually, so it gives you a pretty damn good quality, and I can actually, as I'm walking by here, see, I can give you a nice perspective, and there's no camera shake per se. And I'm just gonna walk along for the better part of I'll walk along for the better part of about 20 minutes or so, and upload the camera tonight as I sleep. I'm shooting this in 4K. There's a see over there another building. This was I think the castle walls, so to speak. So I'm going to come back over here, and what I'm particularly interested in as well is how well this photographs in the low light. And from looking at the monitor, it would seem to be doing pretty well. And here you can see I can practice a little bit in on the zoom, so you can get I would assume that's mother and child, you know. So let's it goes without saying, I think, that Poland is a predominantly Catholic country, having one of the more popular popes in Catholicism history, or Catholic history, papal history maybe is a better word to put it. But this street right here, this thoroughfare, is going to take us down to the main square And if I'm not mistaken, the square is the largest square in all of Europe. You can see the buildings here. So this camera actually came with a zoom lens. You can see the look at that, and I can pretty much go straight up with this camera. But the camera came with a zoom lens. I think it's an 18 to it's an 18 to 135 millimeter. And I'm learning a little bit about, believe it or not, you would think that I knew, more than more people would think, but about cameras and lenses. But it's been a little bit of an education for me this past week, because what I find is that when I have this camera and it's turned around on me at an arm's length, it's rather close. I can't really. It's let these Gabby women pass me. There we go. Okay. I think they've had maybe. I think they're coming from happy hour right now. Yeah, they're coming from happy hour, but nothing wrong with that, mind you. But anyway, so this is what I've been learning about cameras is, when I turn this camera on me, it's even at an arm's length, it's rather close. It's rather close, and I would rather have a wide angle, because given how big of a head I've got, I've got a really big head, and it's hard to fit all my head in the frame. So here's you never know what you're going to see when you're walking around. Look at this. So here is a gentleman that's got a little pig. Look at that. See? That would be a good Instagram photo right there, you see? Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit on this guy. Okay. So, police are doing something there, but anyway, so the millimeter of the lens, the lower the millimeter, the wider the angle. So this is an 18 millimeter camera, and at its when it's zoomed all the way in or out, but it's 18 millimeters. And then you have to deal with what's called the aperture, and the aperture basically is the number that correlates to how wide the iris of the lens opens, so to speak. So, for example, if you have this camera here has a 3.5, so at an 18 millimeter it's 3.5 aperture, and then when you're all the way out at 135 it's a 5.6. So the best way to know about the aperture, how that correlates to the quality of the footage, is the lower the aperture, the better quality video you'll get in low light. So like if you're in a cathedral or out on a night like tonight and you've got a really low aperture, that low aperture is going to let in a lot more light, and you'll get you'll get a better quality, better filming, if you will. So it's a trade-off. You've got the millimeter, which is the lower the number, the wider the angle, and the aperture, the lower the number, the better filming in low light situations. So I was going to buy another was going to buy another lens today. I went down to a store. It was going to cost me 1,700 zloty. I think that's how they pronounce it. 1,700 zloty. So it was going to run me. It's going to run me basically about $450. See if I can zoom in on this. If you're there. So there is your. You see, there's that 3.8 aperture right there. If I had a lower aperture, you'd probably be able to see that statue a little bit better. Now I think we're coming into the main square, but anyway, so I was looking at spending about $450 on a lens for this camera that would have been 16 millimeters, whereas this one is 18, and it would have had an aperture of like 1.4 compared to this one, which is 3.6 or 3.4 or something like that. So it would have been much better for going out on a night like tonight. But that being said, I do have a software program that called Adobe Premiere. Here you're looking at one of the beautiful churches here in Krakow. But I do have a software program called Adobe Premiere, and that it's a pretty advanced program with a steep learning curve. But that program has the ability to adjust for the light. So here we are in the square, and so far it looks like the camera's doing all right. You can see here they've got the horse carriages kind of lined up like taxis. You see, they're just all lined up waiting for the next tourist to come along. You can see beautiful, beautiful horses. Let's see. I don't know if I can get them to say a word or two. Maybe I can. It's going to be fun going through and doing the. It's going to be fun going through and doing the Christmas markets, I think. I would imagine that Krakow itself is just really, really beautiful in Christmas time. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. You?
I'm good. You want to say hello to Skip Smith and the villages? Skip Smith. Say hello, Skip Smith.
Hello, Skip Smith.
Yeah, Skip Smith.
Skip.
He's very famous on YouTube.
Skip.
Skip Smith. He's very famous on YouTube.
Where? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Skip Smith. He kind of looks like this, right there. You see? There. Like, you see? That kind of looks like Skip Smith right there. You know? So I'm just teasing. Do your horses have names?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the horses' names?
I don't remember.
You don't know your horses' names?
Yeah, I'm new here. I'm working like 2 days, so.
Are you from Krakow?
No, I'm from Warsaw.
Is that you're Polish?
What?
You're
yeah,
Polish.
okay,
Yeah.
I mean, my dad is from Iran, but he came here for study, medicine. So yeah, and he just met my mom.
Fantastic.
And they are and here I am. My mom is Polish. My dad is from Iran, and that's why I look like this.
That's why you look like that. Okay. Well, have a nice evening. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Wish me good luck.
Okay. There you have it. You see? Very, 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 very friendly. So I could spend a lot of time just looking at the horses. I don't think we'll get one of them on camera. I think they're a little bit shy. Kind of looks like a well, with the spotting there. All right. So this is the and down. This is it's a market, if you will. This is a really nice market you can walk through. This is I'm pretty certain that this is the largest square that you will find in. This is the largest square that you'll find in Europe, and it's one of my favorite squares. Here is the you can walk through here, and there's all types of souvenirs. I forget, I've done a video through this, done a video through here before as well. But my days of souvenir shopping are over. Here you can see some nice nice scarves. Maybe I could get a Polish hat. It says Krakow, but their national colors are. Now here's a gentleman doing a vlog right here. You see, so I'm doing a video of him doing a video, but red isn't really my color. So I might be tempted to get a hat, but at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't wear it all that often. So we're going on 16 minutes now of filming this video. We're at 16 minutes. And one thing that I believe, I could be mistaken, but this camera will film for about 20 minutes or so. You see a clock up there. Maybe I can zoom in on that. If I can get these controls down, I'll be, practice makes perfect. But get the controls down, and should be able to have a lot of fun with this camera. Quite a contrast to. It's actually quite a contrast to what you would see here on a summer evening. Summer evening, it would be definitely a lot more crowded, a lot more active. And somewhere off in the distance is one of my favorite restaurants, which is Pod Bavalum, and I'll probably save Pod Bavalum for. I will probably save Pod Bavalum for Friday night. Those of you out there, that would be probably about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock your time on the East Coast. If you want to follow along and join me for dinner, look at that. It's nice after a day sitting in front of a keyboard to get out and enjoy a nice walk. Temperature is probably in the, if I had to guess, temperature is probably in the upper 50s, maybe low 60s, I would imagine. So that's just about it, folks, for the tour of Krakow tonight. Really is a nice city. Krakow is it's a wonderful city. If you're looking for a destination to go to over here in Europe, it's a wonderful city. I found myself thinking as I was walking over here that you don't see the, in contrast to Budapest. Budapest is a much larger city, mind you. But in contrast to Budapest, you don't see the homeless. You don't see the amount of homeless people here in Krakow that you would see over in Budapest. I've seen some. Some homeless people, but not to the extent that you see over in Budapest. Not sure what this is. This must be a some type of a temple or a church. I don't know if you can go inside or not. Perhaps you can. It looks like something's happening at 8 o'clock. I'm going to step in and be rather quiet. Let's see how this works. We'll step back out into the night. So we're still recording at 21 minutes and just under 22 minutes. And if I'm not mistaken, this church right over here, I think it's this church over here inside is just spectacular. And I'm going to see if I can't make it a point to visit this church at some point in time before I go. Look at that. All right, so I think that's it. We're sitting at 22 minutes. Hope you enjoyed the walk through Krakow, and have a wonderful evening or afternoon or morning, whatever it may be for you.